Da 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 da! What's my good cheer? Welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes, get those notifications out there. And if you've never met me before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. And today, well, it was in the inside. I don't know about anybody else out there, but I have been looking for a little bit of direction, a little bit of inspiration, a little bit, maybe a lot of motivation in making some plans and setting some goals for myself, looking at those important relationships in my life and some of those relationships that possibly, well, it's not a matter of letting them go, but recognizing that we're living different lives. And sometimes out of those considerations and out of those attachments that we have to each other, that sometimes we will hold ourselves back from doing what we really want to do to support somebody else and somebody else's goal, somebody else's dream, somebody else's ambition or belief, right? For myself, I've done that for the most part of my life, and I am grateful. I don't know how it happened. It has been a very long process. I guaranteed it was steered the entire way, even if I wasn't aware of it at the time. But because I spent a lot of time taking a look at some of those experiences, all of those experiences, all those dynamic relationships, all the adventures that I've had, all those quirks that I have, all those little idiosyncrasies that come across my path, right? Those beliefs that I am so determined that are to true, like they're so deep and clawed into me, and yet it is a belief, right? And so when I'm looking for some direction, I am looking for some evidence for myself that, it's okay to set those goals, right? And you know what? Really go after what you really, really want, right? And don't necessarily think about what that possibility is, because we can talk ourselves out of the possibilities, can't we? We can just easily say, "Oh my goodness, I can't do that. What was I thinking?" Right? Or do you need another person like that on board? Look at how amazing so and so is doing. What is it that I can bring to the table, right? So looking at some direction today, not really doing anything. I thought tomorrow was going to be a busy day socially for me. So I thought today I would kind of take it easy, get some things done around my house, do a little bit of contemplation again, right? Looking for a little bit of direction. And a lot of that is just looking to be inspired, looking to be motivated. I'm looking at my monitor here and the different types of content and inspiration and thought leadership out there that is ready to be served to me, right? And I look at it and I go, I don't know, right? I don't know. And sometimes it is, that idea that I'm supposed to take that rest, that right now is like that calm before the storm where everything is just quiet and still, and that's the way that it's supposed to be. But because I don't work well in the stillness, because I am sometimes that little bit of an energizer bunny that I like to be on the move that way and when I'm not, right? When I'm being the slug, when I'm being stalled out, when I feel unmotivated, when this guilt and shame surfaces, right? That's something for me to take a look at. And I have to take a look at it because a lot of times, right, I do need that little bit of a boot in the butt to get motivated. And sometimes it's just a little bit of a pep talk to myself in order to get that done. But sometimes I really do have to put my foot down and hold myself accountable because, right, by nature, I think, right? I am that person who loves the couch and the remote control. That's only an analogy. I don't even have a TV. Well, I have a TV, but it's a smart TV and I just use it as a monitor for my computer. I don't know when the last time I've watched TV, maybe a couple of years ago, walking into my sister's apartment. She might have had something on the television, right? But yeah, it's just being online. It's just being actually connected in real time, in real life, and you don't really get that opportunity on TV. Everything is preset, everything is detailed, everything is professionally filmed and professionally presented, and the hook is there. And sometimes, I think have uh, we just don't have a chance, right? Because everybody out there is vying for our attention. It's just like them throwing out a fishing line, right? And it's, what kind of bait do we like, right? And then we get hooked into that. And again, you can, the same thing can happen online, but I something I learned really, really early is, you have to use the digital age. You don't allow the digital age to use you, right? To hold you, to bind you, right? It's not something to ground in, right? If you're grounding in the digital age, if you're grounding in YouTube, that is an addiction. That is a habit, right? And I have to take a look at that for myself because I do spend a lot of time online. But my reasoning is that I use the the information, right? It's there being presented to us like an appetizer platter. And yes, everybody's vying for our attention, and it should look like a appetizer platter. But each one of us gets to make those choices, right? Are we going to pick the content that we're going to absorb, that we're going to digest, that we are going to move a little bit forward with, or are we going to allow it to entertain us, hold us back, make us feel comfy and unmotivated, right? I was looking for a little bit of direction today. Did I get any? Well, I got information and I made a little bit of movement in my searching out for a little bit of something, but hitting onto something, no, because again, sometimes I have to remember that stall is intentionally put there, right? To give us pause for moment and reflection, or pause to just wait out a situation that might be sticky if we were to move forward in that moment. Sometimes it's just mental, emotional, or physical exhaustion in that. And that's a truth too, right? We have to take a look at that too, to wonder, right? Why is that so depleted? Right? Because we should be excited and energized by what we do. And if we're not energized and excited by that, Why? Right? And this is how I think. And when I feel that way, well, then I'm looking for a little bit of direction. There is that nice lady yakking away again. Do you enjoy it though? Uh, do enjoy it though. Oh, okay. Awesome. I'm glad you enjoy it, Melvin. Right? I don't necessarily come in here and ever feel like I'm just yapping to myself. I never feel that way. I've come into content with great insights, great movement for myself, and that great bit of thought leadership is coming from a video that might have 10 or 20 views on that. And I don't look at it as right, it's not good content because it's not getting a lot of views. I'm just looking at it is that content is just not hitting the right the right viewers, right? Sometimes you don't need hundreds of thousands of viewers. I was watching a little bit of Shane Dawson and uh, Roland, what is it? Ryland, right? And they are big YouTubers. They have been on YouTube ever since it started up. I think in the top 10 YouTubers, right, that first started up on YouTube, and they were one of those people. And they're a couple on YouTube, and they have two little boys. And the thing is, it's so amazing to watch how they evolve in their lives. Now, I don't know why I mentioned them just in the moment because it was something that was pertinent to what I was just talking about there. I don't know what it was. I'm going to come back later, and I know as soon as I hit the first sentence of what I was going to say, it's going to come right back to me. And then that moment, it's gone, right? The live show is over, and I wasn't able to share it. But that's sometimes how it works for me, that it just kind of stalls out like that, right? Because it's meant to stall out, it's meant to not hit in a moment, just like some things are meant to hit. And that's the thing. I made a little bit of movement today in delving into a little bit of content that I was not familiar with, a couple of archaeological discoveries, recent discoveries in that, and a little bit on some of that leadership going back thousands of years, right? And not just looking at the religious aspects of it, but looking at the ruling aspects of it and the spiritual aspects of it. Because, they were changing gods like they were changing underwear back then, right? Right? Every pharaoh had their own gods 100%. I find it so interesting that some of these religions have lasted as long as they have, like thousands of years, thousands of years. And in those thousands of years, how much has that word changed, right? Some of it has, right? Because I know some of it's been pertinent to my own life. It has affected me in my own life. So I understand when it's used as a tool for learning or a tool for punishment or just a ruling just a ruling hand in general, right? That saying that I have, that if you've been with me for any length of time, I'm not somebody who turns the other cheek. But that conversation, right, of turning the other cheek is actually a sermon from the Sermon of the Mount, right? And sometimes things get twisted to accommodate a situation that somebody's in, a community's in, right? Country's in, a world's in. But this one was problems within the family where the wives were going to the priests and saying, my husband is abusing me. What can I do? And in those days, there was no such thing as divorce. You got married and that was your partner for life, right? Divorce was not something that was acceptable. And what could the priests do, right? Say, just bear up the best you can, turn the other cheek. And that was the advice that these wives got. And they went home, right? More than likely in the continuum of that abuse. Hmm. I'm not somebody who believes in turn the other cheek. There have been times when I had to for my own safety or to not escalate a bad situation or to agitate somebody, right? When we feel people out, say, "Ooh, better not say that. That's going to trigger them for sure," right? And that's something that's been in um, uh, the topics in the past week is this word discerning, in taking my time into analyzing and feeling things out and having conversations and right making those decisions for myself rather than having it dictated to me in in what happened to me is being dictated in a wrong definition, a definition that I grew up with, right? Up until recently, I didn't have the right terminology for that word discernment. I have it now, and I have to work with that, right? And it makes me feel good in this moment because I was guilting myself out. I was shaving myself out for not moving faster, for not making quicker decisions and right? And then when I'm looking for a little bit of direction today, right? And being stalled out the way it was just the message is right. You don't have to search it out. You don't have to chase it down. That when it's ready to come, when it's ready to reveal itself, right? When it's ready to be that next tool on that tool belt of mine, right? It'll be understood. So, what do I do in the meantime? I make some plans, right? So, that's what I've been doing, looking for a little bit direction, but at the same time, right? I'd like to see and I'd like to really feel out where this next year coming up is going to lead me, right? Nothing's solidified. And I've only got another 2 weeks to set my goals for the year. Otherwise, I'm just going to be all loosey goosey and let the wind take me where it wants to take me, and I'm just going to be right like bumper cars banging up against one car, the wall next to me, the railings, and just continue to do that. And that would be okay because I would ride those waves, right? And I'd still have experiences, different experiences, but those experiences wouldn't be probably going in the direction that I would like to be going. That's the whole point is setting goals, right? To accomplish those things that we want to accomplish, not to be all throwing up against walls and bumper cars and things that we're actually able to set a little bit of direction for ourselves. That holiday that I took this September, absolutely amazing. I am, when I say amazing, I mean, I'm amazed that I accomplished that. And there were no, in the end, right? No horrible catastrophic moments, right? There were little stressy moments here and there, but I'm out on the road for 2 weeks and I created the most magnificent holiday for myself. And it amazes me. I'm just amazed that I did that for myself. But that came from setting goals and moving towards them, right? I didn't know what last year was going to look like. I didn't. I was in the exact same situation last year as I am right now. In another 2 weeks, I'll have my goals set and, right? How much they're going to look like the goals that I had last year, I don't know because I don't know what my goals are. In my it's something on my plate right now, right? Because knowing that 2 weeks is coming up, I got a 10-year anniversary coming up. 10 years on YouTube on New Year's Eve, you guys. Gotta get something ready for that one too. And I am sitting here looking for direction. Is that just the silliest thing? And in contemplation and in knowing what I've got to do in the immediate short term, it's the answer right there. It's the direction I'm looking for right there. But because it looks too much like work, because I feel like the couch and the remote control sounds a little bit more comfortable, that I'm stalling myself out and then blaming it on the fact that I'm not getting any direction. Obviously, I am, right? And that's the way it works sometimes, right? We see what we want to see and then we don't see, right? What's right in front of our face. Oh my goodness, right? Hmm. Hmm. My last grape juice box. Gonna try a different flavor next week. I've been enjoying the fruit boxes quite a bit, trying to eat a little bit more healthier. I don't know how much healthier a fruit box is, but it is grape juice, right? Grape juice is an antioxidant, so they say. Okay, you guys, I just wanted to pop in, say hi. I'm just shutting her down for the night, right? I have been in the lessons, I have been searching out directions. The directions have been there the whole time, right? I guess tomorrow it's time to get to work a little bit, right? I need to get to work. I need to ground in the busyness of setting off and achieving some goals. Yeah. Okay, you guys. Have a great night and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.